Hi everyone, it's Syrian girl. I wanted to put forward my own hypothesis on why the film insulting the Prophet Muhammad was created and why I believe it failed to achieve what it was designed to do and in fact backfired. It was first reported that the creator of the film was Israeli and that the film was financed by Zionists, but later in the news, what was focused on was that the creator was a Coptic Christian from Egypt. I believe that the film was designed to begin the clash of civilization strategy, which divides the world religions into a huge uh, war, a world war. And this is starting, I guess, in its small steps by turning the Muslims against the Christians, specifically in Egypt. And in fact, the film itself depicted just that, the Christians and Muslims in Egypt fighting against each other. They were pitted against each other. And it was timed perfectly with September 11 and the arrival of the Pope in Beirut. And the Pope has been against the war attrition in Syria, and he has called for the arms to stop flooding in, and he said that it is a grave sin to arm the insurgency in Syria. So I believe that, just my own theory, that it may have been designed to instigate some kind of protest against the Christians in Egypt, as well as the Pope's arrival, to pit, of course, Christians and Muslims against each other. And I also, months before this occurred, I heard rumors that there might be an attempt on the Pope's life. So these were unfounded rumors, but that's one thing that should be kept in mind. And there was certainly some articles that emerged from Zionist media such as Ynet and Jerusalem Post that carried forward this idea that Muslims were in fact protesting Christians due to the film. But this is not what actually occurred. In fact, Egyptian Muslims and Christians protested the film together hand in hand, and the majority of the rage directed towards the film was not directed at Christians, but was in fact directed at US imperialism in the region. Instead of burning down churches, people rioted against KFCs and burned American flags. And this kind of just reminded everybody that the US is an imperialist power in the region, and I think it really backfired on the intentions of its makers. And one of the more interesting things about this is that the Wahhabi sheikhs, such as Kurdawi, who have been directing a Muslim jihad into Syria and who has been making radical statements against Syrian Christians and Alawites, promoting violence against them, have actually came out and said rioting against US embassies was a sin. So I find that extremely ironic. I think it shows once again that these Al-Qaeda assets are being directed by the US, and the fact that the US has instructed them to tell their followers not to attack the embassies again shows that the target of this film was not intended to be embassies, but perhaps Christians. Of course, the initial uncontrolled rage by the Benghazi rebels that attacked the US embassy really stuffed up the US narrative in Libya that they were arming freedom fighters, and it also stuffed up the narrative in Syria by extension. And I believe that was a huge propaganda defeat, as I said in my previous video. And I, for that reason, don't believe that the US ambassador was meant to die. His death was not meant to be part of the equation. I know that there were some reports that there was premeditation for the attack, and those same reports have pinned the blame on Al-Qaeda in Libya, But the irony of that is now that they are admitting that Al-Qaeda exists in Libya when it suits them, which it's exactly something that they ridiculed Gaddafi about when he said they were in there. It just shows how short the memory of people really are, and especially of the media. And I think in some ways it has worked in their favor, this film, because it has paved way for the Romney era, and for more imperialism. For the average American, I'm sure that seeing American flags burning alongside Israeli flags will see it as a personal attack. And I know that many saw the attack on the US ambassador as an attack against the nation. But I ask those people to consider how Libyans feel about the fact that the US helped kill their president, and how that would be an attack on the nation as well and would enrage them the same way. And I also asked them to consider that the ambassador's actions in funding extremists is what led to his own demise. I don't believe that Obama is set to win this election. I haven't believed that for a while, and I think this movie has sealed the coffin in that, and definitely the Romney sock puppet era is going to be the next one, in my opinion, and it's going to continue the imperialist agenda, maybe with a different flavor. Maybe we will see an end to the humanitarian face that it seems to have. Certainly nobody batted an eyelash when 50 US troops were sent into Libya. And this is just my hypothesis as it stands today. As things develop, I might update. And if you want to hear those updates, please feel free to subscribe if you'd like to. I've also linked my Facebook and Twitter accounts below in case you'd like to not subscribe or keep in contact some other way. I'll be happy to see you there. Thank you.